Or is it like the Cobra effect? Why anti-Adblock policies could hurt revenue instead?
On May 9th, 2023, Reddit user Sask100 posted an image of a message they received when visiting YouTube.
Oh yeah, wait, I gotta fucking turn this guy up. He's very fucking low.
Ad blockers are not allowed on YouTube. It looks like you may be using an ad block.
I saw this shit, man. Like, imagine you were using an ad block and then you get this message. Holy shit, I would be scared as fuck, man. But genuinely, man, like, if you don't use an ad block, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Ads allow YouTube to stay free for billions of users worldwide. You can go ad-free with YouTube Premium, and creators can still get paid from your subscription. And then it gives you the option to either allow YouTube ads or try YouTube Premium. About a day later...
To be honest, YouTube Premium is not a bad service. I've had it before. I had it last month. It's really, really not a bad service. I would even recommend people to get YouTube Premium. You can just get the light version. It's actually a really good service. I could only recommend it. Especially if you use your phone a lot to watch YouTube videos, like on a train and stuff like that. It's just so nice. And like if you're falling asleep with your phone and you're watching like videos when you fall asleep, it's very nice not to be disturbed by a fucking ad.
A YouTube employee confirmed with the subreddit moderator that this was in fact real. IGN also reached out to them for comment, and an employee told them the following. We're running a small experiment globally that urges viewers with ad blockers enabled to allow ads on YouTube.
The only issue is that if this actually goes out right, there's just an ad block that's going to be able to circumvent this, like this detection service, and it's just going to be like kind of like World of Warcraft, right? Where like where they every single time they make a raid boss and they have add-on, like, and then the modders make add-ons and they have to basically compete against each other, make raid bosses that can compete against the add-ons, add-ons that compete against ad bosses, and same with hackers in video games. Hackers are making better hacks to hack video games, where the video game creators are trying to shut down these hacks and stuff like that. So it's kind of like an evolution game basically.
Or try YouTube.
And if you're starting one with Google, I think it's just going to be a waste of money for Google to fix this, like even work on this.
Ad blocker detection is not new, and other publishers regularly ask viewers to disable ad blockers. Just because they say it's a small experiment, though, doesn't mean that you shouldn't worry. Small scale means that they're testing the waters to see how many people are going to go, I guess I'll pay for premium then. And then if YouTube's revenue from new memberships increase at a higher rate than any revenue lost due to users viewing less content, then they're going to see it as a success, and it's going to go from a small-scale experiment to a large-scale one as they roll it out in other regions. Now, before anyone...
I just hope they don't like roll it out in Denmark or like in Northern Europe like early. I want this shit to stay away from me as long as possible, man.
Starts talking about legality or freedom of speech or whatever, it is well within YouTube's rights to have these policies.
Obviously it is. Listen. If you're complaining about anything on YouTube, anything like that, and you're like complaining about it, listen. Google may be a publicly traded fucking domain, but Google don't have to listen to shit. If Google want to remove your YouTube channel because you made a video, or like they didn't even make a video at all, they have every right to just fucking do that. Cause why? Because they own it. Like, you don't got shit to say, man. You got shit to do. They can do what the fuck they want.
Their terms of service. And we all understand that they want ad revenue to fund server costs and maximize profits. Let's not pretend that they're bleeding money here, though. And inversely, the right to use ad blockers also exists. In Germany, you have multiple court cases outright saying that ad blockers are legal. Meanwhile...
Oh, there's gonna be a lot of fucking legal cases we're gonna have to watch. It's gonna be lit. If this actually go through, and then like we're gonna have to watch court cases in German. It's gonna be great.
I'm not an attorney, but you do have some fundamental concepts of law that an actual legal expert might use to say that an express contract or an implied contract is not inherently formed or...
Oh yeah, hell yeah, legal. He's up at the top. I love that guy. Makes really good videos.
Just because you visit a website and agree to the terms. You also have historical cases that aren't inherently about ad blocking, but are kind of in the same area, such as cases regarding property modification, website click wrappers, or even the Sony Betamax Supreme Court case, where the judge ruled that recording a program and fast-forwarding through the commercials is legal. Fun fact, some DVRs and VCRs...
It could be kind of cool. Like, I know, like, yeah, you can do that on TV with a lot of TV sets. You can actually just, like, scroll through most of that. But I do think it would be cool if, like, they just made the fucking ad, like, you could just skip through it if you weren't interested. I would really, really like that, but also know that I think that would make people less likely to actually watch it. So I don't know what they were gonna do if they're gonna make people actually watch the ads. I don't even know what the fuck they're gonna do there.
Actually have the ability to automatically detect and skip commercials. So sponsor block has kind of been around for decades now. For the sake of proper transparency, though, how an ad is circumvented can still be an issue in certain circumstances. And there's also plenty of ways to design a website so that a contract is much more enforceable. But we'll leave the actual discussion of legal hypotheticals to an actual attorney. Back to what I am qualified to say, though. Certain data privacy...
I like how he's not just going like, hey, this is actually how it is, right? But he's actually talking about, like, these things I have no clue about. You would have to ask a lawyer about that. I like how he's kind of opening, like, a larger discussion towards to what, like, some other YouTuber could do, and, like, some other person that's way more qualified than he is. I really like this. This is actually really cool. I think it's very nice that he's not just, like, going in there with, like, balls deep, just, like, here how it is, man. I really like this.
The law, such as the GDPR, can make certain ad block detection methods illegal, and even government agencies such as the FBI say you should be using them for your own safety.
Oh shit.
Now let's talk about the Cobra effect, a phenomenon that many of you have witnessed throughout history but may not have known about as a defined concept. The Cobra effect is essentially when someone tries to fix a problem, but their efforts either end up making the problem worse or creating a new problem entirely. The alleged...
The Barbara Streisand effect, you know, she was trying to, like, remove the picture of her house online, and then it basically turned into, like, and then now, because nobody saw the picture, but then everybody saw the picture and everybody looked it up, and now then everybody knew where the fuck she lived. If there is a problem, and it's just a small problem, and it isn't, like, doing that bad, and not hurting you that bad, leave it the fuck be. But if you're actively, like, trying to delve into a problem that nobody gives a fuck about, you fucked up. You fucked up completely, man. Like, it's so stupid how, like, because this will just make everybody that makes these ad blockers make, like, way higher tech stuff, which will then just make it way harder for other people to make stuff on YouTube, because then it's a race again. It's an evolution race, as I talked about before. Then somebody makes an add-on on YouTube, and then YouTube has to look through it for an entire month to check if there's not an ad block on it, and then it becomes more restrictive, and then there's more restriction on these things that they make, and it just turns into a massive fucking problem, and it's just gonna annoy everybody, and it's just annoying that we can't just watch with ad block. But I get it why you should watch it with ad block. I get that. I 100% get that. But I'm just not going to do it.
The origin story was that back in the 1900s, when India was still under British rule, India had a cobra problem. The British came up with a solution of offering a bounty on dead cobras to encourage the residents to kill them and reduce the population. Instead, the residents just began breeding the cobras so that they could easily kill them and collect the bounty. Then when the British caught on and canceled the program, all the cobras being bred were released into the wild, and then the cobra population was actually higher than before the program started.
What?
Now, I say alleged because, due to the fact that most of history is lost to time, we don't have definitive proof that this event ever happened, but the name Cobra effect still stuck, and the concept is very much real, so I want you to keep it in mind when you think about the never-ending battle between ads and ad blockers. Many advertising companies are actually okay with ad blockers, because they know that most of those people are never actually going to click on the ads served to them.
That's so fucking true. That's a big true from an ad company, because, like, if I don't want, like, whenever, because most people that have an ad blocker, I've got to skip the ad the nanosecond like you can skip it, and most of the time, like, when I get an ad, like, on my phone, I just look away, or just, like, walk until, like, I can skip it, or just, like, listen through it, or just, like, I just leave YouTube immediately when I get that ad. It's the same thing on Twitch. If I'm like scrolling through Twitch and I'm seeing a bunch of, like, different channels, and if I see an ad, like, I just quit Twitch. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not gonna sit here just to watch a fucking ad. I'm not gonna do that. So, like, it's actually a really good argument they're making here.
So the remaining people who don't use ad blockers who see the ad, they're more likely to actually click it. And then that higher click-through rate is better for the advertisers, which allows the website owners to in turn go, look at our success rate, to attract more people to advertise with them.
But you can at least admit that YouTube's ad system, Google ad system, is actually really good. Like, if you watch a video about pizza, like pizza toppings, you're usually gonna get a pizza ad. If you're watching something about video games, you're gonna get an ad for a video game, or the video game you're watching. It's really good, their system. It's really fucking good compared to Twitch's.
By forcing a large population of people who are not only never going to click an ad, but are never going to pay for YouTube Premium to now view the ads, then that means that the click-through rate is going to decrease, and then the companies are going to pull out and advertise elsewhere because their campaigns are not as effective anymore.
True.
You also have to accept the reality that there are many more options besides pay with your time or pay with your money. There's always going to be other solutions, such as take your time elsewhere or find any other alternative solution. In the comments section of that same Reddit thread, one user posted a link to a website called YouTube, spelled differently, This is a mirrored version of the main YouTube site that doesn't have any advertisements on it.
Wait, what?
I, along with many other people, would have never known this website ever existed if it wasn't for YouTube taking such an aggressive anti-ad blocker stance. Additionally, YouTube's new experiment caused me to discover a browser add-on called...
There's an alternate YouTube with all the YouTube videos on it that people are using to watch videos without having to watch ads. Do they have an app? Because I want to download that right now. This is great. Whoever made that is a genius.
Ad nauseum. This works by blocking your ads like normal, but in the background, it clicks every single one of them. And this is so that advertisers can't build a profile on you because it looks like you just click every single ad. But this does end up meaning that the advertisers are getting their money wasted because all their ads are being clicked but not actually viewed. So if YouTube begins to more aggressively enforce their anti-ad block stance, the ad block developers aren't just going to go,
yeah,
I guess I'll pack my bags
evolution.
and head home then.
Evolution.
They're going to find a way to one-up it, and then we might see more ad blockers that work just like this, so that they're spoofing YouTube into thinking you've allowed ads by clicking them, but then the ads aren't actually being served, and it's going to waste more and more advertiser money, which makes their campaigns less effective and causes less of them to want to advertise with YouTube.
Holy shit, this is so true.
And even if a particular method does eventually become illegal, it's not really going to matter because of how few changes you have to actually make to make it legal again.
If they actually try that bullshit where you're not allowed to have like an ad blocker, it's gonna be bad for YouTube, bro. It's gonna be so fucking bad for YouTube. But I also think like YouTube, if they do that, YouTube is also allowing themselves to be one-upped by another video sharing website. I don't know which one that would be, but I know there are video sharing websites out there that are not that are pretty big, but not YouTube big. YouTube is in its league of its own. But if YouTube starts doing this, they are gonna open themselves up to some kind of like competition. YouTube right now has no competition at all. Like not anything that is even remotely like in their field of view. But if they do do this, they will 100% like gonna be another website that's gonna gain a lot more traction that allows ad blockers that it might actually take over. It's kind of what we see with the Twitch and Kick right now. But Kick is on the fucking rise right now, and maybe Twitch won't even be able to keep up. But we'll see here in the future, like if Twitch survives or if Twitch fucking dies. We'll see.
One pretty recent gray area example I can think of is with YouTube Vanced. This was a third-party YouTube APK for Android.
I've never heard of this before.
Ad block and sponsor block, but it was discontinued due to legal threats.
And the fuck is sponsor? Does that mean it's just like it cuts out the part where a person is sponsored? I don't know if I like that. I always watch a sponsor part of a video, especially if they make them fun, kind of like Internet Historian or Pyrocynical.
Because it also enabled certain premium features, such as the pop-out window or the ability to listen to a video even when your phone screen was powered off. And now you have the spiritual successor, YouTube Revanced. And the main loophole here is that instead of providing you with a third-party APK, it just kind of teaches you how to build your own mod yourself. So realistically speaking, the whack-a-mole game is just never going to go away. When it comes to people and advertisements as a whole, many people are actually okay with advertisements, but only to a reasonable extent. You have apps, such as Duolingo, that serves you an ad at the end of each lesson.
I think it could also be cool, like, instead of showing ads like they are traditional right now, that instead of like that, ad company would deliberately show ads, like partner with a YouTuber or streamer, to then show more of their ads to their viewers. Let's say that you play Call of Duty, and Call of Duty has a bunch of ads, right? And they want to show these ads. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna partner with a streamer that let's say this guy has like 500 to 100 viewers, right? And every single time one of these ads is shown, they get a little bit more money, cause like money for the ads or something like that. Cause these ads will actually deliberately make the people that are watching the content, aka people that play Call of Duty, people that does that, have a higher chance of clicking on the ad, buying the game, buying microtransactions, stuff like that. I think that could be a new thing. Advertise directly at collaborating with the YouTubers. I think that could be the new thing.
But people also voluntarily choose to view a second unskippable ad for a small reward within the app. Many of my fellow
So many people do that on phone games, where they like get like a bonus for like watching an ad and stuff like that.
Americans probably watch the Super Bowl and have a favorite Super Bowl ad that you'll even go onto YouTube to watch. Meanwhile, one of my all-time favorite ads was for a Wii game back in 2008, Wario Land Shake It. As you watch a trailer, the entire web page would break apart and you could even drag elements of it around afterwards. You can't do it anymore on the modern YouTube webpage, but thankfully users such as Video Game Clip Collect and Nuke JP have preserved this ad.
That's cool.
So think about that for a moment. I'm talking about how I'm glad that an ad was preserved. And I'm not the only person who's ever said that, because you have entire compilations of commercials on YouTube with millions of views and millions of positive comments. So if people tolerate ads...
So basically what he's saying is that if an ad is really good, if an ad is like genuine, like something that's like different than just like every other fucking ad, and it's not like it's just a bad ad, like how you see like a lot of like Amazon and stuff like that, like they have really bad ads. And a lot of video game companies also have really bad ads, unless it's fucking Battlefield, because every single Battlefield trailer pretty much slaps. Maybe if they made good ads, people would not mind watching it. If it has good music in it, people would not mind watching it. Maybe that's more like the path you need to go, instead of like just going like, hey yo man, fuck the viewers.
Ads, and even have ads that they like. What YouTube and other companies need to be asking themselves is, why are people using ad blockers on our website in the first place? And the answer comes down to the quantity of the ads and the quality of them. People
Also, a lot of them are like over a minute long, and it's fucking annoying.
Who use ad blockers didn't start out using them on day one. They browsed the internet like normal until they reached a tipping point where they said, enough is enough, and then they went out to find an ad blocker. Many people were pretty understanding and tolerant of a single pre-roll ad, skippable or not, but then as that number continued to grow, more and more people hit that breaking point and just said, enough is enough, there's got to be a better way. And now that we
also they now have double ads, and I know in some places they've tried like triple ads, quadruple ads. There's no shot I'm watching that. There's no shot I'm watching through 10 fucking ads just before watching a video that might be like a minute long. The ads are gonna be longer than the fucking video.
We've reached the point where enough people sat together in a room and said, serving 5 to 10 unskippable ads at a time sounds like a brilliant idea.
You and I know what we're talking about.
How could anyone be surprised that more people than ever are using ad blockers? And many people do value their time as a currency.
Most people that don't use ad blockers are usually old people above the age of 30. I'm not counting, like, let's say above the age of 40 maybe. But at least like people above the age of 30 usually don't use ad blockers because they don't know what it is. They'll gladly watch through like 5 ads just to watch their video of like a funny cat video or like a funny cat compilation. They don't mind doing that at all. And it's insane. Genuinely, it baffles me that how like people can do that. Because I can't. But it's just like, but at the end of the day, they're still making money off those like 53% of the population that uses the services, but not the rest of whatever I do. And also kids, like kids don't know what a fucking ad blocker is. And also people that use their phones, iPads, tablets, all that sort of stuff.
See, sometimes just as much or even more than money. So as the monetary price or the chronological price increases, demand is going to decrease. But perhaps the bigger issue at hand for many people is not the quantity of the ads, but the quality of the ads.
Yeah.
Most viewers on YouTube aren't receiving average, ordinary, family-friendly ads. You got hustle bros with their get-rich-quick scams. You got multi-level marketing ads where hidden in their income disclosure statement, it reveals that 99% of people lose money. You have games that are...
I also exposed Mr. Beast, fucking Mr. Beast scam. Not like not the one that Mr. Beast has actually made, but I literally showed one on one of my channels about the whole Mr. Beast like thing, where it's like it's basically a Mr. Beast like thing that comes on, Mr. Beast font, Mr. Beast everything, and it literally shows the fact that like another company is using like Mr. Beast's paraphernalia and stuff like that to get people to click links so they lose their money. There's legitimate actual scams that are being shown on YouTube, confirmed scams they're showing, and they aren't doing anything with it.
They're deceptively nothing like the advertisement, some of which include blatant copyright infringement to deceive users, sketchy websites that may contain spyware and malware, and vulgar adult content to the point where YouTubers such as SaberSpark,
that's actually fucking true,
have talked about them, only for him to get in trouble for showing the exact footage that advertisers are still allowed to show. Meanwhile, if you are using something such as Sponsor Block, You may have never even heard of various sketchy sponsors, such as established titles, until
Fucking true, holy
YouTubers
shit.
such as Scott Schaefer started covering them. And because people aren't asking basic questions such as, is this company allowed to use this IP to advertise, or if this title were legally binding, why aren't the locals using it? Why aren't there more lords and ladies in Scotland than there are Saudi princes if it's this easy? This means that you are significantly safer by using ad blockers and sponsor blockers, and that's why so
true. And I even talked about that in my fucking video about it. I even fucking talked about that. Why the hell, like, YouTube is literally allowing all this shit to be on the fucking platform. I have no fucking clue, man. But legitimately, I even fucking talked about that. And it's crazy how they're allowing all that shit. Like, they're literally allowing people to be scammed on the website. And YouTube is supposed to be like, it's like the biggest video sharing website of all time. And they can't even take the time out of their fucking day to watch if an ad is a goddamn scam.
Many government agencies, such as the FBI, says you should be using them. Now, because bad advertisers usually just get a slap on the wrist instead of any form of legal or civil penalties,
that's actually true.
Does that mean that you can never expect the company or the people who run these sketchy advertisements to accept responsibility and compensate the viewers when they demonstrate a complete lack of quality control and promote these ads which give them a sense of...
I fucking remember that shit with cynical ads and stuff like that. There were even ads where they for a mobile game where they use like Walter White's look and stuff like that.
Legitimacy.
Yeah, literally the fucking Mr. Beast scam ad.
Or the advertisements exploit the viewers. Of course not. I'm not an attorney, so take this next bit with a grain of salt, but I do think that this distinct lack of accountability may actually be part of the reason why you don't see companies actively trying to lobby and change the laws to restrict the use of ad blockers. With the current system, there's so many intermediaries between a website and the ads that they run that they all get to point the fingers at each other and play the blame game whenever something goes awry. If they push too hard to try and change the laws, it could have a Cobra effect for them by creating stricter regulations for internet advertising. It could create more distinct guidelines on someone getting in trouble for making an ad with a fake close button or a fake download link, and it could even create an opportunity for website owners themselves to be held liable for damages if they fail to implement quality control.
I will have to say that's probably true. That's probably a big fucking true. It will actually hurt like the people, the little guys and stuff like that just want to get paid for the website and stuff like that. 100%. That's great content.
And their ads go on to harm the viewers. After Enron collapsed and the Sarbanes-Oxley Act passed in 2002, it created a new standard where CEOs and CFOs had to legally certify all financial statements as accurate, and they could face very steep civil or legal penalties if they certified a statement that was false or misleading. While it did scare some people into compliance very quickly, it also caused nearly 500 companies to just voluntarily delist themselves from stock exchanges because they were really scared about now having their name on that paper.
The fuck?
And I imagine that if you're in the advertising industry, you don't want to run the risk of having to certify the ads on a site as safe. Many of the specifics of that topic are still much better suited for a legal expert.
Come on, legal, make the fucking video, bro. I want to watch that video.
From a business perspective, it makes much more sense to maintain the ambiguity and then shift the blame to the ad block users whenever the topic comes up.
But it's a good scapegoat, right? But what they probably should do is like YouTube should talk about adding something and never do it. It's the old I'm gonna do it. When are you gonna do it? I'm gonna do it. So you say you've been saying you're gonna do it for the last 2 years. Are you really gonna do it? I'm gonna do it. So when does this happen? Now it's been 4 years. Are you still gonna do it? I'm gonna do it. Right? You just keep saying that until you're somewhere good. Never have any intention of actually going through with any of your plans. Just keep saying you're gonna do it.
Now let's have a fun look at distancing layers and how small details can make a huge difference. Let's pretend that you're watching TV with your family. The commercials come on, so you hit the mute button. But then a family member turns to you and says, "Hey, you can't mute the TV during the commercials. That's theft." And then you watch and give all sorts of personal information to the network owners and cable provider. And when you look at some of the patents that have been filed over the years, it's not even a far stretch of the imagination to say that people have actually flirted with the idea of having your TV watch you to make sure that you watch your advertisements.
That just unlocked like a memory bank in my back of my head. I remember this. This was actually like an idea that people had But I also think, remember, like one of the reasons why they never went through with this is because in a lot of states and a lot of like countries, there's like rules against like cameras, and that would mean they would need to have like have these cameras like. And why would you buy a TV with a fucking camera anyway? But you would need to like have with law and like law enforcement, and you would need to like commit some papers. And imagine doing all that bullshit, like having to like get the government involved just to have a fucking TV in your room. Or TV in your house, and let's say you have 2 TVs now. You just got a new TV, and then you have to put more papers out. Like, imagine how fucking stupid and how long of a process it takes just for you to watch some fucking football. Shit, man.
Now let's pretend that you're at the local park with a friend. There's a man with a megaphone screaming about all the hot singles in your area.
Hell yeah.
And then when you ignore him and walk past him, your friend says, "You can't just do that. He paid to advertise here so that freeloaders like you don't have to pay to enter the park. He is entitled to have you listen to his entire speech."
Bruh.
And then when you finally meet your obligation and try to leave, the man purposely bumps into you, forcing you to give him personal information. Most people would never tolerate these conditions in a physical setting, but then make one small change as to the technology being used to serve you an ad, and then the mentality in some people changes. And this phenomenon of distancing layers via technology is actually really common. Think of how many friends you have that would never fall for a traditional multi-level marketing scheme, get-rich-quick scam, penny stock pump and dump. But then you change the technology to, say, cryptocurrency, and then some of those
I know a few friends that dabbled in cryptocurrency. Do you guys want to know how much money they lost? All of it. Not a single one of my friends made out with a single dollar, or a single euro, or a single dime of their fucking money. They got out with nothing. No money they got out of cryptocurrency. Do you know why? Because it's a fucking scam. That's what it has been, what it is, what it isn't, and it is a fucking scam, okay? Don't ever get involved with crypto. Don't ever get involved with like penny stocks and all that bullshit. Don't get involved with it. I know only if you're ever gonna invest in actual stocks. Don't just invest in monopoly money, which is fucking crypto stuff.
flags just subconsciously go away. I've seen real life examples of people who on one hand are aware enough to say, all these influencers trying to shill this penny stock just want to pump and dump me. But then, later on, they say, yeah, I really do think that this doggy-themed token with no utility is going to 100x, so I better get in quick. And you might even know
I remember there was a bunch of people that thought like they were, when Elon Musk was on SNL, a lot of people were talking about like, oh, Elon is going to mention Dogecoin. It's going to mention Dogecoin. It's going to be crazy. And then when Elon was on SNL, he never mentioned any form of crypto or anything like that on SNL. And then the day after, like a bunch of people just were mad at Elon on Twitter. And I can't even explain, like, why the fuck was he supposed to mention crypto or anything like that? No fucking clue, but a bunch of people were expecting him to mention crypto.
Somebody who went, I'm not going to give this RuneScape scammer my go. Oh my goodness, Obama's doubling my Bitcoin on Twitter.
Hell yeah, dude.
So many new scams are just...
Yeah, I remember, like, those guys, like, I remember they actually got out with a lot of money. Only issue is that that the scams will figure out and they weren't sent to jail.
Old scams with new technology because of these very...
Also, no technology, I mentioned that. A lot of laws, a lot of countries' laws have not encompassed like a scam or like crypto scam laws yet, and like pump and dump schemes, and those like I'll double your money if you give it to me, and they have not enforced anything like that yet, which makes it basically legal with big quotation marks to basically scam people. And can you really blame people for taking and a great chance of taking advantage of the dumbest in society for them to just give you their money for free just because you said you were going to double it, but you never did? Again, it's as I always said, if you got, you got. Nothing else to it.
Very same psychological distancing barriers that we subconsciously create. Now let's discuss price discrimination, specifically third-degree price discrimination, where specific demographics are charged different amounts. If you go to, say, a museum, you might notice that different groups pay different prices. If you only think about things in terms of profits, you may think that you're losing out on potential money by not charging equal prices. But all value is subjective, and you want to find that perfect ratio of price to demand for each group in order to maximize your profits. That college student discount isn't because they think that college students are better than other groups of people. It's because they generally have less income, so they're less likely to be able to show up in the first place if they have to pay full price.
Also, when you have when you put that, basically, standard admission, $12. It basically, if they're putting it at $12, whatever this thing is, like whatever the fucking thing you need to pay here is, the museum admission, the actual admission would probably run you around maybe $6, but then you double that amount of money to get as much money as possible out of you. But you also know that if you make college student pay less for it because they don't have that much money, it's also more likely for them to go there more and study there and advertise it and show it in a lot of pictures and stuff like that, which means they get free advertisement as well as it looks like they are doing something good for the fucking college kids and stuff like that. It's just good publicity at that point. But do they really care about the students? No, because if they cared, they were made free, or maybe $3 fucking dollars or $4. Senior citizens. At the end of the day, man, $6 is now $9. You're not really gonna care that much. And military free, listen. I know you guys can't see it, but military free there. At the end of the day, if they're making $12 off the average idiot, it doesn't matter that let 1 out of 100 people go through.
Meanwhile, that senior citizen discount is because so many of them grew up used to things being cheaper that if you charge them full price, they're more likely to hit that cutoff point and say, this is just too much, it's not worth it. And then in this example, military getting free admission is going to be because there are just so many competitive free attractions in the area that if they have to pay anything, they're just going to take their time elsewhere. But this doesn't mean that they cause huge...
Also, I don't understand why people in the military go free into places. I never understand that. Whenever I see a military guy at my store and stuff like that where I work, I think nothing about it. Somebody comes in their military uniform, I'm just, okay, cool. I really don't give a shit. Sometimes I barely even know if it's a guy that actually is in the military or a guy that just went out play fucking airsoft. I don't even know at this point, man. I only had one person asking for extra stuff because he went in a military uniform once, but that was just and then I just had to tell him, no, we don't give anything extra to people in the military, and it just went oh, okay, and that was it. I don't understand why people in the military feel like they have the right to extra shit. I don't get it.
Losses for the museum every time they show up. There are other ways they can contribute to the profits, such as buying food, drinks, or souvenirs.
True. Because most of the time, the money they make from admissions and it's same with the video games. The money they make from admissions or video games is not actually the price of the video game or the admission. It's the food trucks, microtransaction. It's the merchandise. It's the fucking loot boxes. And that's the kind of stuff they actually make the money off. In most cases, because the game is $60, they don't really make any money off that, but they are gonna make a lot of money off your $300 that you just spent on loot boxes.
There are other non-monetary benefits too, such as contributing to good PR for the museum, and the military members are contributing to the higher metrics that the museums get to use to entice partnerships and investors. And now let's apply a third-degree price discrimination model to YouTube. In the United States, premium membership is currently $11.99 per month, but you can't charge that same rate equally across every single country. Between factors such as exchange rate, minimum wage, purchase...
That's also why in a lot of countries the subscription on Twitch is way lower, because a lot of those people would not be able to pay $5 for it. In Georgia and in Turkey, it's way lower, because there's no reason why a guy in Turkey cannot pay $5 fucking dollars for a goddamn Twitch subscription. When the lira is literally worth less than actual fucking paper. Paper is probably more worth than the fucking lira right now, okay? So there's no reason to have a person actually fucking pay $5 for it. I think it's 30 cents right now for a subscription or something like that in a lot of countries. And there's also laws against price raking in low income countries and stuff like that.
Purchasing power, cost of living. If you try to apply the same price to every single country, you're going to have several...
YouTube Premium in India is fucking $1.56. Adblock, of course, free. Oh, what the I might need to go to India, bro.
Countries where they go, Well, the price of premium is more than I make in a month, so I can't even afford this in the first place. So then with strategic
You could pay $10 or you could pay fucking nothing.
pricing in mind, at the very bottom you have the Adblock users. Currently, they do not see the subjective value of the time price, and they do not see the subjective value of the monetary price of premium either. So many of these customers are ones who would just not waste as much time on YouTube, or may even leave YouTube altogether if they were forced to pay in one form or another. They still have ways to contribute value though.
Oh, sorry.
Some disable their ad blockers for their favorite creator, some buy super chats, but most importantly, they still contribute watch data and other analytics that allows YouTube to say, look at our overwhelming market share.
Yep, there we go. Here it comes, man. And then it also basically shows like how much market share they have in the video market compared to everybody else who are not even near YouTube. Because YouTube is the biggest, and at the end of the day, if they have 97.3 fucking market share, that means that every other video sharing service is basically nothing compared to them. Like JW Play, I don't know what the fuck that is. But like, again, at the end of the day, man, they only hold 1.56% of the fucking video sharing service. Like, that's nothing. YouTube is smacking them.
And then all that data is what attracts so many investors in the first place.
True.
YouTube would love it if these people help them earn more money, but anybody saying that they contribute nothing of value to YouTube is objectively and demonstrably wrong, especially when every single viewer doubles as a product, which is likely a huge reason why.
Because you can get the data from the people that watches all the videos that you can then sell to advertisers and other things, which means that that's usually what YouTube does. YouTube doesn't make any money, but Google makes a ton of money, and that's also because they get a bunch of data from YouTube, which is what makes YouTube worth it in the long run. YouTube is a massive money sink, but all the water that goes down there is like some residue, which is gold, which Google collects and then makes a ton of money off that.
Why YouTube could go banning users with ad blockers, but they don't. If the free users of YouTube were really this much of a drain on profits, then it would have stopped being a free service a long time ago. It would have either become paid only, or they would have limited the amount of free
It's just a fucking mobile game at this point then.
Content for non-paying users. When you think of who is a stakeholder in a company, what's the first thing that comes to mind? You probably think, anyone who owns stock or invested money directly into the company. And while those are in fact stakeholders, they're not the only ones. One of the most important stakeholders is the customer. One of the most grossly misrepresented quotes of all time is, the customer is always right in matters.
True. Customer's always right is not true. But I always heard like the customer's always right. Like whenever I talk to other people that work and stuff like that in it, most of the time the customers are not right. I just have to say it. In matters of taste.
A lot of us tend to ignore that second half and think that it means people need to bend over.
It's because the people that like heard it just saw themselves as the customer, and now they want like free shit at the store.
Backwards to please us. But what it really means is that the best product or service is the ones that the people choose. And if so many users are choosing to access YouTube in any other way besides the default settings, well, that's just the free market speaking.
Wait, I want to see the meme. This side looks like it might be interesting. Accept cookies, disable ad blocker, send out for a newsletter, allow notification from the site. Yeah, okay, that obviously you're gonna stop it right there. I think I was already stopped here. Like he already got through to the disable your ad blocker, which means he disabled the ad blocker. I'm already done here. Like I'll accept cookies, but I'll not fucking disable my ad blocker. No shot.
If not enough people are buying your premium service, then it means that the current tactic of creating a problem in order to sell a solution is not enough, and you have to create more incentives to buy. But to be completely fair to YouTube here, this is an uphill battle that they face because of the way that we perceive rewards. Let's pretend that we live in a fantasy world where somebody actually made a good play-to-earn video game. Everything
will never happen, by the way. Will never
looks
happen.
Good on paper. People play video games for free, and people even pay to play video games. So introducing a reward means that people should really enjoy playing your game if it's good. So at first you have a bunch of people playing, selling, you got buyers, and people who are playing non-stop make $200 a week. Sounds good, but then over time, basic factors such as supply being sold outweighing demand being bought, and then people just having to settle for selling for less, your average goes from $200 a week to $100 a week. Well,
and then lower and lower, the more people that join the video game.
Plenty of people are still happy because they still like the game, and before, they were playing games for free. But then, as the trend continues, you go from a
I really do feel like the next people that are gonna make like the big like make more money in video games are the guys that gonna make a video game that is just a cryptocurrency, like fucking like the mine's cryptocurrency in your fucking PC. That's pretty much what's gonna happen. They're just gonna make Valorant, but it's like cryptocurrency miner in your PC that you then download. So when you basically play against other people, your PC is saying because they're basically mining. It's like, you know, doing the code to make cryptocurrency and stuff like that, and then you get a share of like 10% of that money just for playing a game. I think that is and it's gonna, by the way, it's gonna destroy your fucking GPU, but you don't care, man. You don't fucking care. I do think that's the next step in like like the thing that's gonna happen, cause I don't know, man. With how fucking how shady people are now with like money and like grabbing video games and stuff like that, I cannot believe that hasn't happened yet. But I do believe like in the next couple of years that it will happen.
Making $200 a week to say 50 or 25, and then more and more people are just saying this isn't worth it anymore. It doesn't matter that the game on its own was actually considered good, because once you introduce rewards to it, you cannot scale them back. And this is essentially what has happened to many longtime YouTubers.
The dopamine level falls if you're making like more and more.
Your time, and your reward, instead of being $100, it would be 100% pure YouTube video with no ads. But then over time, your reward goes from 100% video to 90% video, 10% ad, and then as it goes further and further, eventually most people hit that point where they say this payout rate isn't enough. And even if you do
wait, I see that. How YouTube used to be: Dude Perfect 2019 opens video, watches ad, finishes video. There would always be a middle point and also like an end ad, but let's just forget about that. How does now using Dude Perfect latest overtime episode? That's an example. Opens video, immediate double ad, watches 2 minutes of video ad, watches 5 minutes of video which contains a DP product promo, double ad, watches 7 minutes of video which contains a third party product promo that is disguised as a personal choice, ad, watches 8 minutes of video which contains a break in the episode for sponsor promo, ad, watches 4 minutes of video, double ad, used to fool people into thinking there are more video to come, true. Again, there's actually a lot of people that do that, and they'll like make a double ad right here, and then they'll just be like the end credits, because then there's a chance another ad then plays at the end.
Most people hit that point where they say this payout rate isn't enough. And even if you do pay, not all of the problems go away. Right now, free YouTube with legal add-ons is far better than paid YouTube, so can you really blame anyone for not seeing the value of premium? YouTube really does have to start thinking outside of the box to bundle enough perks that people say, I see how this service provides value that free YouTube could never possibly provide me. Just like with the Netflix and piracy thing, if you make the paid options better than the free options, people will pay for it.
True.
On the much more emotionally charged subjective side of
I will say that that's true to a certain degree. I don't think you can ever make cinemas better than just going on a crack website and just watching it for free. I think that's impossible. Unless like you live in a crack house, and every single time you open up like anything with light, a bunch of crack addicts jump you and beat the fuck out of you. It's impossible to ever make crack websites with an ad blocker not as good as just like watch like you just can't like laying in your bed just watching it by yourself, with maybe even surround sound fucking shit and watching it on TV or like your phone or something. It's impossible to make that experience as like that experience just the best you can get compared to sitting in a TV with a bunch of people that are laughing through a movie, or like somebody like coughs, somebody brought a baby into the fucking cinema and all that shit. Like I think it's impossible. It cannot happen.
things. You will see an endless back and forth between one person saying they shouldn't have expected it to be free forever, and then them saying, well, they've crossed the fine line between necessity to survive and greed. But I won't get too into that. I think the universal takeaway we can get from those arguments are trying to insult your customer base to get them to pay is generally a bad business idea. It's not working for Twitter, and it's not working for people trying to lock previously basic features behind paywalls. Something I found out as I was trying to grab a few headlines is that AdBlock Plus actually does have a quality control program where they do permit non-intrusive ads through the ad blockers. I can't give a properly qualified opinion on it because I've never used it, and I do have a few initial concerns, such as potential conflict of interest arising from the same group that approves the ads also being paid by the advertiser. But the customer is always right in matters of taste, and 500 million downloads implies that People tolerate tolerable ads. Many people would gladly disable ad blockers for their favorite creators if it was safe to do so.
If it also was quick to do as well. Like if you just like click a button, boom, now it's off, and boom, now it's on. Or if you could whitelist different creators and stuff like that, I think that would also be like a thing you could do, just for your favorite creators, or like something like that. I think I would want to do that. But I don't know, man. It's just like if I like a creator enough, like I'll just go to the Patreon. If I like a creator that much, I'll go to the Patreon. There's no shot. I'm not gonna do that just because it's just easy. If I want to support somebody that much that want to take over my app blogger, I'll just go to the Patreon. It's easier. Like even paying like $1 a month to them, it's probably more that they're gonna get for all my watch time that I'm ever gonna give them. Like me, like let's say get millions of views, but like just the $1 is more than gonna get like from just me individually.
Already do disable your ad blocker for your favorite website or content creator. That's fine, you're allowed to. And inversely, that website or content creator is allowed to politely ask if you're willing to do so. But if they're uploading to YouTube instead of, say, Netflix, well, they should also respect your decision if you say no, because we were all aware of this possibility as we got into YouTube.
Those triggers and analytics are just for optimizing user experience. Why does the site work so much better with uBlock Origin than?
Look, we all like the idea of having more money with less effort as opposed to less money with more effort. I am no exception to that rule. But if somebody is crossing that line between politely asking and trying to guilt trip you or coerce you, well, chances are they are either 1, not fully aware of the risks it poses to you, and that's not entirely their fault, which is why I like to say don't hate, educate. Or 2, they have been fully educated on the risks it poses to you, and they are willing.
Some of you may get malware, spyware, viruses, ransomware, or crypto miners, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, and they should just done like a fucking massive Google logo here.
To expose you to that risk in order to make money off of you. So in conclusion, if you want people to not use ad blockers on your website, you got to make the quantity and the quality of them tolerable. Forced compliance will only make things worse for everyone, not just the viewers.
But I will also have to give YouTube this though, I don't know. Even though like this kind of meme just rhymed, like implement basic quality control so that our ads are safe. In most cases, people don't like remove ad block because they don't think the ads are safe. People remove ad block because they don't want to watch ads. Like it has nothing to do with control, like any quality control, no nothing. Like at the end of the day, you're still gonna get served like the same ad like a couple times, right? Even if you watch it the first time, you're not gonna watch it the next fucking 30. So I don't know, like this is kind of a dumb comment because most people just don't want to watch ads.
Horrible. Forced compliance will only make things worse for everyone, not just the viewers, but the advertisers and the website hosts. But in a world where kids get ads for adult content and vapes, where recovering addicts receive targeted ads for gambling and alcohol, where enabling ads can put you at risk even if you don't click them, where we have so many fake download ads that people need guides written for avoiding the fake ones with malware, and where even Google accidentally allows the first result for YouTube to lead you to a fake Microsoft Windows tech support, good luck convincing anybody to surf the web of digital STDs without a digital condom, especially when YouTube's own employees get caught using ad blockers. Don't let people shift the blame to you, the victims, who just want to stay safe. Let the people who created and enabled the problem to fix their own problem. One final fun fact before I wrap everything up, Ethan Zuckerman, the inventor of the pop-up ad, has apologized for it, and he went on to call advertising the original sin of the web.
Holy shit.
And while I won't excuse his actions,
I don't know, I feel like the original sin of the web is probably people like sticking stuff up their ass and then it breaking. Disgusting videos, child porn, the dark web where people sell drugs. There's a lot of different things I would consider maybe like the internet's original sin. But yeah, that's about it.
In his defense, if he didn't invent it, somebody else definitely would
100%.
have. And he also has done some noteworthy things in his life afterwards. He set up the internet in third world countries, and he resigned from MIT after he found out about his lab's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. So I wouldn't necessarily call him evil. My question of the day for you all is, for those of you who use an ad blocker, what was your breaking point? What caused you to finally say, enough is enough, I can't handle these ads anymore? Let me know.
I'll tell you right now. I was on a website called 9anime. This website, no, actually like 9anime, it Kiss Anime, and Kiss Anime is a website where you can watch anime for free. I wanted to watch like a show that just came out. I think it was like the first season of Attack on Titan or something. I think it was even earlier than that. I don't know, first season of Attack on Titan. I think that's like the one that comes to my mind, but I don't think that was it. But I wanted to click on Attack on Titan, and it gave me a pop-up window, which was an ad. I closed down that window, then I clicked it again, and then it was another ad, and then I closed down that window, and then I clicked on a window that was a Kiss Anime, fake Kiss Anime, where it was then like another place where it wanted me to download something, which was a scam that I then closed down, and then I finally got on Attack on Titan, and then the browser wouldn't load because there was a bunch of like fucking like hot girls in your area, and then I click all the X's, but there was not like the real X's, there was like the fucking fake X's, so then I had to close those down, and then I finally got to like the play button. That was not the play button, that was another ad, and then I got another pop-up window, closed down that window. And then I finally like get the video. I click the right fucking play button, and then a video fucking like starts loading, and then it stops because the video service was not right on, because then I got on vid streaming, and when I click on vid streaming, it's another fucking pop up that then when I finally get to vid streaming, it's a whole thing over again, and then I finally click on it, and then I'm about to click make the window big, it's another fucking pop up ad, and I then went on YouTube, and then I went like how to no longer get ads, and then I found Adblock, and then I no longer get ads. And that's the story of why I do not use why I use an Adblock.
In the comments below. That's all I got for now. Have a wonderful day.
Fucking hell, man. Goddamn. But again, this was a great video, man. This was a great video. I like this. I actually really like this. It was cool to like again. I did really. The biggest thing was definitely the fact like he doesn't overextend like how much he knows, how much he doesn't know. And again, he just like kind of throws the question up in the air, kind of shows some rules, some stuff about it. I really did like that. It was very cool. Very good fucking video.